Hello and welcome to the Penelope Possum channel with me, your host, Penelope the Possum. Today we're just going to be watching videos because I cannot be bothered to play a video game today. Hello! We're gonna watch this
We're Jay and Jamie, and today we're celebrating
video by the Wicked Makers.
Mickey Mouse in the best way we know how.
By turning him into a nightmarish animatronic monster. So we took our kids on their very first Disneyland trip last week, and the Disney Imagineers have always been pioneers of animatronics.
It goes without saying that Disney is a huge inspiration, and now that Steamboat Willie is in the public domain, we're going to recreate that Mickey in the style of a broken down, scary FNAF animatronic.
Our plan is to build a completely custom moving head animatronic, which I've definitely never done before, but we're gonna figure it out together.
Our first step was commissioning.
These guys make a lot of animatronics and stuff. It's really fun to watch. Also keep hanging out till later in the month where I'm going to reveal a brand new outfit for y'all.
An amazing 3D artist named Beardless Props.
Hello.
Model for us.
We're watching a video by Wicked Makers. They're making Steamboat Willie into a scary animatronic. And I smell lemons.
Mickey shape, and then we worked with him to lay out where the broken parts would be and all the holes and stuff, and the result.
I think you're having a
We've
stroke.
been able to add mounting points for the animatronic and like the jaw hinge and stuff. It's awesome. This model, along with all the stuff you'll need to
Poker, little kitty butt.
build the animatronic are going to be on our Patreon, so check the link below. Now that we have our Mickey model, we can take this into our 3D printing app and slice it up into pieces that'll fit our printer. We'll load up some 3D Fuel PLA and let the magic happen.
How's it going over here?
It's going really good. I got a bunch of stuff printed. We got the ear,
Ooh.
those are kind of the small pieces. Oh, and we got the other ear printing inside. The rest of the pieces, though, they're kind of big, so they're going to take a few days to print, but that's okay because I can work on other stuff in the meantime.
Hey, can you throw me that ear?
Yeah.
While you're working on the animatronics, I'm gonna get started on these ears. Now, the black parts of Mickey Mouse I want to be fuzzy. And to do that, I'm gonna use some black flocking fibers. Now, usually you would sand this beforehand to like get rid of the layer lines, but I'm hoping that since this is fuzzy, it's gonna hide those layer lines anyway, and we can save some time.
Is that black Mod Podge?
Yeah, I just mixed it with a little bit of acrylic paint, and that way it all stays, you know, black.
It's totally gonna work.
Oh yeah. It is really awesome. I love watching videos like this. I will literally watch videos where people make cool animatronics and stuff like this custom for hours on end. It is so fascinating to see all the work and like cool technology that goes into stuff like this. It is crazy cool. Now, they haven't always built animatronics from scratch. A lot of the time, they'll just take, like, Home Depot or Spirit Halloween or, I'm braining so hard right now. Oh, gosh. The other Halloween store animatronics. And they'll make those into something cool. But lately they've been making their own. And it's way cool.
I'm not having to like pre-finish everything.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's turned out really cool.
Nice and
So
fuzzy.
what I'm building here is a 3-axis head mechanism so we can move Mickey's head around. I've been working on this design for a couple of weeks and just kind of trying stuff and iterating as I learn. Like this is the 9th version of this piece, for example. But I think we finally got
Halloween Express. Thank you. God, I could not think of that for the life of me.
One of these for each axis.
Jeebus.
Get screwed onto this servo plate, which is printed out of 3D Fuel's Pro PLA Plus material, which makes it super rigid. And that's important because you can see on this other one, it like bends all over the place. And if this bends and flexes, this thing isn't gonna work. From here, we've got this long screw, which is kind of like the
I
neck,
really
and then
could
attached
not
to it is this little thing
think
called a
of
rod
shit.
end bearing. And it's got this little part, which when you put it on there, allows it to rotate around like this. So we'll take this rod end bearing and we'll screw it into our servo plate at the top here. And now you can see if we put the shaft into the rod end bearing, it creates the pivot point for the head. Next, we've got these little parts called servo horns, and these are gonna go on the servos like that, but first, we have to attach them to the neck. I created some tiny little linkages here that on the end also have these little ball joints. And one end of this is gonna get screwed onto the
This
end
is
of the neck shaft, and
complicated.
the other side is gonna get screwed onto the servo horns. Now we can attach the horns to the servos, and
There's so much engineering to this.
So right now this is upside down, but watch what happens if we move the servos. It actually makes the neck shaft move back and forth. But if we flip it upside down and the neck shaft is secured, then when the servos move, they push and pull themselves around. And that's how we get our head movement. So this is all gonna bolt onto Mickey Mouse's head, but first we gotta finish making that.
Hey, phew!
It's been a few days, but
Oh goodness, bless me.
now we finally can assemble the head. Look at this thing. This is awesome. This is not supposed to be a costume, but it could be. I am happy and impressed with how quickly this was able to just go together.
You know what? So on our spring trap, we got really far and then we tested the animatronic and it didn't work. No! No! So I think let's glue this up and then test it before we go any further.
Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog.
No.
3D pieces together when they're so big like this is notoriously hard to get them to line up perfectly. So one of the tricks we did is in the model, we built in these little alignment holes that fit a little screw perfectly. Get in there. There we go. And that should connect in there. And then
Oh yeah? Is this a real friend or a friend you made while you were off of your medicine?
God damn it.
What happened?
The pop top broke off of the can.
Whoops! That's not good. 5 seasons and 30 spin-offs. Bro, what? That's crazy. Speaking of medicine, did you take your medicine today? You better take your medicine.
that helps us line it up.
Daily possum pill reminder.
I'm just using super glue because it works great on 3D printed parts. We're not stressing about the lines too much because we're gonna cover most of this in Bondo to give it texture. And then the rest will be flocked over, so you won't.
Yeah, you might want to go ahead and do that, buddy.
Now we gotta let it dry again.
Possum pill reminder strikes again. You need one of those little talking pill reminders. Be like, hey, it's time to take your pills.
Yay. Look at that!
Yes,
Oh, it's heavy.
it
Or
is.
heavier than I thought.
Which is why I think we really should test it.
Yeah, let's hook it up and test it. Okay, so check this out. On the back of the model, on the inside, there is like this plate with all these mounting holes. And the idea is we're gonna screw this onto that plate.
Oh.
Something like that, except it's not. Why is it flat? Ooh. Ooh.
Did you break it?
No, I didn't break it. Okay. This screw sticks out behind the plate, so how can we
Oh,
see it
I
flat?
see. That's not good, is it?
I could make this again, version 10,
No.
and pull this out further.
No. Oh, what if we just make a little spacer thing? Like, so it can offset a bit.
What do you mean? Oh,
So-
like on here?
Yeah.
Like make a spacer?
With like all the same holes in it.
Okay, that would be pretty easy. I could cut a hole in this to fit the bolt.
No.
A spacer, eh? Okay, I'll be right back.
One space there.
Okay.
Has everyone taken their medicine today?
Just have like this little thing, and it goes on here, and now it will clear the bolt. And now we've got these little screws, and these should fit through here. Although, another thing just occurred to me. How are we gonna screw this on when all the servos and stuff are in the way?
I thought you had a plan for that.
You know me way better than that. Also, I need this to stop rolling. How am I gonna?
Oh gosh.
Ha! That was finicky, but I did manage to.
Good job.
To take some of the stuff out.
You guys are doing better than Retro Caramel is because y'all remember to take your medicine. It's been a long time since I've had to take any kind of medication, and I'm glad for that. I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
And I think that's
Okay,
pretty strong,
good.
so let's-
Everyone's taking their medicine now.
Okay, you ready for
Good.
this?
Yes.
It lives!
That's amazing.
Oh man. I think
It
because it's so
lives!
heavy, like there's a lot of momentum as it moves around, which is throwing things out of order a little bit, but it works. It works. It totally works. Do you like being an
It's
animatronic?
okay.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Did you see that there are already a ton of games and movies using Steamboat Willie Mickey here? They wasted no time and they all look totally different, which is awesome.
Are any of them called Screamboat Willie?
I don't think so, but there
That's
should
a
be.
That's
That's
all
a
those
great opportunity.
games and stuff. There's a ton of
Also,
ways
that
to do it.
plushie is adorable.
And one of the ways we organize our vision is with Milanote, the sponsor of today's video.
Milano is an amazing
I think everybody
tool
forgets to
organize
take their
all our
meds
creative projects. We use
sometimes.
it for almost everything we make because it's super visual. We like to collect tons and tons of pictures and reference images, and Milanote boards give us the perfect way to keep it all in one place.
And when we work with another person, like a 3D modeler, for example, we can share the boards with them, which makes it super easy to collaborate.
Along with pictures, you can collect notes, videos, task lists, you can create color palettes, basically whatever you need. For this one, we've got a board of Steamboat Willie reference, then we've got another board for inspiration and ideas, then we have one for all of our design details.
When you make a board, you can choose from over 100 built-in templates or make it from scratch. And all this stuff works seamlessly between their mobile app, a web browser, or their desktop app. Milanote is available totally free with no time limit, so if you make stuff, you should try it. We really like it, and it'll probably help you too.
You can sign up using the link in the description below, and if you end up using it, let us know in the comments. This is Bondo Spot Putty, and we're going to use it on our head to get it ready for paint. Now on the back, since it's going to be flocked, all I'm really going to worry about is filling in all of the seams where we glue the pieces together. But on the front, since that's going to be painted, the printer left these little layer lines here, so I want to fill those in. But what the Bondo is also going to do for us is let me build up a texture that I can then carve in some cracks and damage into, kind of like we did with Ghostface. Now, when I was applying it, I started using like a little tapping motion, which made this really cool rough texture that I actually like. On the head though, since it's just in those lines here, I am going to sand that down. I ended up sanding like some of the areas and left a lot of them rough. It's going to give us really nice variation in texture once it gets painted. And like, you know, this is like the rotting area and this is not so rotting.
Oh shoot, I forgot to grab something. I'm pretty sure that was just a time when you weren't taking your medicine, Retro. But I gotta go grab something real quick. I'll be right back. Well, looks like it's working. The chickens seem happy.
They were leery of
I'm back. I got fabric paint. Ah, yeah.
Now,
Creativity.
all right, we painted Mickey black with just some black spray paint primer because I'm getting it ready for paint, but also I'm gonna do the flocking on the top part of the head, and I don't want those weird orange spots showing through.
Paint. Yes.
It's crazy to me how easy this is. You just put on the glue and you just sort of push the thing. That's so cool.
But we're still gonna like mess it all up, right?
Yeah, we'll scrape some patches off and make it look old, like the rest of his face. Hey, did you steal my John?
I did. I'm trying to figure out how to make it move.
Are you
How
having
to-
any luck?
I think so. I'm designing an adapter basically because it's gonna like attach it to the head, but also allow it to connect and move. And it's not quite working yet, but it's gonna work.
So can I have it back so I can paint it in the meantime? I'm gonna paint the face like the dirty whitish gray, but before I put that coat on, I'm gonna put on some crackle medium. And what this is gonna do is allow that top coat to crack naturally, so I don't have to paint cracks in. This stuff gives it like this really cool cracked makeup, cracked porcelain, like little fine hairline cracks. It's pretty neat.
Very interesting.
Our top layer is cracking where we put the crackle stuff and showing all the black stuff underneath.
I wonder how it cracks like that.
That looks so cool.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, look, I got the jaw working. Basically, I started with just trying to build a hinge so that the jaw could connect to the head. In the 3D model, we put a hole here in the jaw, and then there's this tab on the inside of the head, and so I had to make a little arm to connect those two things together. And this part was pretty smooth. See, it works. But this is only half of it because next I had to figure out how to hook this up to a servo. So basically, I just started building and trying things. Eventually, after 7 or 8 versions, I think I found it, so let's check it out. So first I cut a plastic servo horn into this little thing here, and then I screwed that onto this adapter I made, which connects to a screw. Then I took my original hinge arm thing and made some changes to it, and the screw goes through here and into the jaw. Now I can put the servo on like this and screw it into the little arm, which makes it so that when the servo turns, the jaw rotates. The little bracket gets screwed back onto the head, and then there we go. Check it out. It mostly works. It seems to... Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh.
What happened?
It started making a really weird whining noise, and now it smells really bad and it's hot.
Oh, that's bad.
We burned it out.
That's not good.
No, it's not good at all. I thought that just one of them was going to be strong enough, and it was moving, but the more I used it, I think I just killed it.
1 hour later.
So it looks like you're gonna have to do 2, buddy boyo.
Watch. I thought maybe the servo just wasn't strong enough, but it was actually because I had tightened it way too tight. So instead of freely rotating, it was like grinding against the side. Adjusted it, and now it works again. Disaster averted. I thought I was gonna have to redesign the whole thing again. But you know, honestly, like, this probably isn't the best way to do it. There's probably 10 other ways that I haven't discovered yet, but that's okay. It works, and that's what we're after. Now that it's on there, can we make the teeth?
Almost. I want to put the ears on first. That way, when we're putting the ears on, we don't like knock the teeth off.
The ears, good idea. Okay.
All right, so on the ears, we've got a couple of little screw holes here, and then we have matching holes on the top of the head. Now, we discovered that the screws don't really fit well into the screw holes, so we're gonna glue them in so they're extra secure. He's a mouse now.
He does mostly look like a mouse, finally. Except
Yeah.
his nose. Can we just put his nose on? Oh, boy. Oh, I love it.
Now it really looks like a mouse.
When we made the teeth on Springtrap, we used EVA foam, and that worked
beautifully. So for this, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to do what works. First, I'm going to start by putting this piece of scrap foam inside
a
this
weird
mouse, and I will draw my
quality.
teeth on this, and that will be my template. My next step is to transfer those shapes onto a piece of EVA foam, and I'll cut that out, and then I can shape it a little bit with a Dremel. Then we can paint it.
The layering of the song and the speech isn't really great. Excuse me, goodness.
I'm going to use hot glue to put the teeth in. That way, if I do need to make any adjustments, make any shorter, or reposition them, it should be pretty easy to take them off.
Mickey is calling you? I don't think so.
I love him.
Oh, that looks so good.
They turned out so cool. This is what pushed him from like, just, normal Mickey Mouse to like scary Mickey Mouse.
Like a mouse having canine teeth. It's just super weird. And they look so real. They look almost like dinosaur teeth or something. Do we get to do the eyes next?
So old Mickey doesn't really have any eyeballs or irises. They're kind of like just these dark black voids, which are already pretty creepy. But we're gonna try something here. We're gonna use these clear Easter egg ornaments, and they're kind of oblong shape, which matches the shape of Mickey's eyes. I'm gonna start by scuffing up the inside of this Easter egg, which is gonna diffuse the light, but it will keep the outside smooth and shiny. Use a piece of sandpaper, or if you have a Dremel, you can use a bit like this to get a nice, smooth, kind of cool look. Okay, next we're gonna put a little iris on here. And the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna take a little piece of blue tape and we're gonna put it on the eye to kind of position where the center is. And then we're gonna paint a ring around that with some black paint. How do you wanna do the colors around it, Jamie? You wanna do like on Springtrap where we did the foam?
Yeah, I think we're going to use the foam, but I think we might have to make a pattern for it.
Yeah, because it's not round.
Yeah.
It's easy when it's round, you just make a circle.
Uh-huh. I'm going to glue the edges together with barge, but that's not going to give us a perfect round piece. So afterwards, what I need to do is heat bend it over the shape. My seams aren't coming together perfectly, so I'm going to use a little bit of spackle to fill those in. And then
Spackle.
So I designed some parts to hold the eyes in place, and there's starting with this little plate, and the eye is going to kind of basically go on it like that. But before we put that on, we're going to take this little red LED, we're going to put it through the hole in the center, and then I'm going to flip it over.
Oh, I think I see where this is going.
So next I'm going to take
They're gonna make glowing red eyes.
this because it's going to reflect the LED light and hopefully make it a little brighter. Now I can just trim off the edges so it fits nice and clean. Now I've got a hole poked in here, and I'm going to take this little screw and I'm going to push it through. And then I'm going to take this little arm that we made, and it's going to attach to the back, just like that. And this actually attaches to the servo plate, so it's all sort of like one unit. First we'll snap on the eye into the plate, dab a glue on there, we'll hold it in place, and then we can put our eye cover on top of that.
Spooky. Electronics.
So now I'm going to attach these inside the head to the servo plate, but it's going to be like impossible for you guys to see me doing it, so I'm just going to go ahead and attach it and then show you what it looks like.
I love it.
Oh, it's so much scarier now.
This Mickey,
Oh my god.
this is gonna be really
Should we test the
handy.
lights?
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh, that's creepy as heck.
Wait, and watch this. If I hold this button, his eye starts shorting out. Because he's an old broken animatronic, you know? I can't wait to turn it all on at the same time.
Mickey Mouse needs a tongue, so I made him one. Now to make this, what I did was I used this packing foam. I don't know what it's called, but it's soft and squishy and really light. So I cut out the rough shape with an X-Acto knife.
You won't do it. You don't have the
Put it
balls.
over, and then that gave us this. The problem is it's really fuzzy, so I'm going to try something.
No, we don't. We made sure of that.
Liquid latex and see if that gives me a nice, smoother texture.
Good job.
Hey, I didn't get it on the camera. I think that's enough latex. We're just going to
Womp
use it.
womp.
It's fine.
There you go.
right, this is gonna dry for at least a couple of hours, and then I may need to put another coat on it. We'll see.
Don't spill it again.
The gremlins will hear ya.
Latex on this, and I love how it turned out. It is super like bumpy but not fuzzy. It's just like I imagine a really gross tongue would be. So now it's time to paint the tongue, and I'm gonna paint him white, which sounds a little weird, but we're trying really hard to stay close to the Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, and that's a black and white cartoon. So we're trying to bring that black and white concept into the real world.
Dirty white tongue.
Gross.
Gross.
Very
Tongue
gross.
here, and what I did was I added a thin piece of foam right there, and I'm gonna glue the tongue right there.
It's so gross.
No.
It's so creepy.
And now, the final details for Nightmare Mickey. A little silver paint on all the edges will give it some depth and help it look like it's made of metal. All the painting and details are going to add layers and help bring it to life. Every smudge and spot tells a story. Our Mickey has been trapped in a condemned theme park for decades, collecting dust and grime, wandering the streets at night. He's filthy and falling apart, but he still has that creepy, innocent look to him. If you need inspiration, there are so many scary Mickeys out there. There's all the new movies and games coming out. There's
Oop,
even a fan
bumped the
game
mic.
called Five Nights at Treasure Island with a bunch of really cool Mickey variants. It's amazing.
Even with just the head, this is one of the craziest things we've made. Designing characters is hard, and so much goes into making animatronics. We definitely still have a lot to learn about the mechanics and design, but we're gonna keep at it. Okay, I think it's ready to go. I've got them all plugged in. I've programmed an Arduino so I can puppet Mickey with a PlayStation controller. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
I think Mickey's dead. I don't know, something broke in here.
Oh,
Honestly, I'm surprised he worked at all. This is our first time doing this, and to even get this far, absolute win. We're definitely going to keep going on Mickey. We're going to fix his head. We'll probably even give him a body. And if you want to follow along with
Yeah.
us, learn with us, check out our Patreon. The link is down below. And until next
Well,
time.
I guess it broke. It's unfortunate.
We just got this new animatronic called the Harvester of Souls, and it's basically this giant
This is a classic feel of what they usually do.
wraith thing, and it like lifts up this child and devours her soul, and there's fog and lights. It's awesome. And a bunch of you guys said that we should turn it into a Dementor from Harry Potter.
Which is brilliant
Creepy.
because the motion is basically the Dementor's kiss already.
But there's a twist. In the movie, the Dementor like raises up Harry Potter. It's like, "Grrrr," and he's like, "Ah," and he escapes and he gets away. But what if he didn't? What if Harry Potter never got that Patronus out? So we're gonna do this in two parts. We're gonna turn the big wraith thing into a floating Dementor. It's gonna look super cool.
And then for the kid, we're gonna turn him into Harry Potter. But this is the Harry Potter that lost. The first step is we're gonna take him all apart so that we can start reshaping his body.
By the way, we got 2 of these from Techie Toys, and we're gonna give one away at the end of the video so you can do your very own makeover. So stay tuned for that.
No, that's so creepy.
The mouth is huge. We're gonna have to, I don't know, cut his jaw off and fix that. And also this neck is really freakishly large, so.
You know, I do like the sculpt on the head though. Like, look at all the little, the detail and the little tendons and stuff like that. And
Yeah, we can work with this. The main thing we want to do right now is make the body flow horizontally instead of down. So he's like
Chicken.
like that.
first we want to lean the whole thing over a little bit. We're going to leave these poles as they are to hold the whole thing up. But this upper body,
You
we're
have
gonna try to
fluffy
get it to
butt
bend
all over
over
your
a little
butt.
bit. And
The boy who died. Yeah, instead of the boy who lived.
I guess I'm just going to like try to bend this pole. What do you think?
Yeah, and just whack it with a hammer. That's
That's
like
my
our method,
customary-
right?
Then whack it with a hammer.
What is that metal thing you're bending
This thing?
on? Yeah.
This is an old piece of railroad track, which it makes like a really good makeshift.
I'll use this.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's getting there. This is a pretty ridiculous way to do it, but it's the simplest way I've found, and it always works.
Oh man,
Oh, it's creepy.
that's a lean.
Okay.
I mean, that's what you wanted, right?
It's not exactly what I was going for. Normally, when you're doing a pose like this, you would lean over, but then the head, you want to come back up. But look at his neck. Like, I don't think we can't really counterbend his neck, can we?
No. Also, when he raises up the girl, it's aligned with his face.
Look at me. Your soul will be mine.
I don't hate that. This is maybe a little too intense. I split the difference. I reduced it just a little bit. So now instead of looking straight down, it's a little angled.
We've used chicken wire on a couple other projects before. We used it on our giant spider to form like her big butt. And then we also used it on our ghost to make like her body shape and her tattered dress, which is kind of what we're gonna go for on this guy. One thing we learned though is this stuff is really sharp and it likes to like spring up and attack you out of nowhere. Oh gosh, oh geez, oh Bill. So we're gonna use protection.
I know, there's a dumb chicken in here. But yeah, once we're finished with this stream, I'll probably get to work doing some cool stuff with my jacket.
All right, we drilled some holes in his chest here so we can zip tie our chicken wire to his chest. All right, I'm connecting his chest together. I'm just kind of wrapping these around each other. I want like a, that shape.
An arc?
Yes. Like that. Bend. Bend you.
90% of working with chicken wire is just awkwardly messing with it.
Yeah.
Until somehow it works.
Chicken wire. This wire's for the
I think
birds.
that's a good basic shape. He comes down, he swoops out. We're gonna layer some fabric over him, but this really just gives us the base form to work with.
Okay, let's do the arms. This is surprisingly good and close already, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But the arms, we're gonna use pool noodles to kind of bulk them up a little bit and then wrap them.
Now we can noodle it.
Hoping it'll just bend. Come on.
Oh!
If you didn't know, you can get pool noodles at the dollar store. They're really cheap and they're great for this time of stuff.
Teamwork.
Okay, there we go.
Woo!
Okay, so I trimmed it down, and now this can go back.
Yeah, pool noodles
Okay. See?
are really good for bulking up arms and legs
Round
on
and it comes up and, like,
animatronics
doesn't
and
really
stuff like
match the
this.
shape. I just want to shave off a little bit of this. There we go.
Okay.
Even though it kind of looks like the same color, we still needed to base coat the hands gray so the other paint layers would stick. We're going to do a wash and dry brush on these, so those paints won't stick as well to just the regular shiny plastic. The wash always looks really dark when you first put it on, but it dries much lighter and it sticks in all of those cracks and really helps it.
Ooh, looks dingy.
I love when we have really good reference to work from, and we totally lucked out on the train scene. It gave us a great look at the colors in the hands and just how shiny it is.
You're gonna multitask? Sounds fun. Just don't hurt yourself, alright? Oh, it looks so grody.
Those look so good. They're so slimy.
I know. The book says they're slimy and glistening, so that's what we went with. We're gonna try and reuse as much of the costume as possible. This thing right here, this was his hood, I think. So I'm gonna cut this into strips and then wrap it around there just to use as our base layer. And then we have this, it's basically
cheesecloth that's been dyed black, and I'm gonna cut this again into strips, and we'll wrap that around, and that will be like his mummy wrappings.
It's looking good so
Great.
far.
I'm glad this worked. It was kind of a test putting the cheesecloth over the nylon-y, the shiny material, because I think we're going to do something similar for his body. But before we do that, I actually want to mess with his head a bit.
We're at kind of a crossroads here. We have to make a big decision. On his head, the major issue we're having is the mouth here is way too big. The reason it's so big is because inside his mouth, there's an entire fan that they have to fit. So that makes sense, but the problem is it doesn't look like a Dementor's head or mouth. Jamie and I always try to make it look really, really close to the actual character. So this isn't really working that well. But the trouble is, it's gonna be what we call a destructive change, right? If you think about the arms, we just added a bunch of stuff. And if it doesn't work, we just take it back off again. But the head, to fix this, we're gonna have to cut off the entire bottom of the mouth, which is gonna like mess up the fan, and it might not work. And if we destroy it and it doesn't work, we're in big trouble. So it's a risk versus reward thing. Is the reward of it looking more like a Dementor worth the risk of destroying the whole prop and like none of it working? In our case, yes, because we really want it to look just like a Dementor.
What have you done to my mouth?
And now what we're gonna try to do is move it up somewhere like probably in the neighborhood of right here. It also gives him like a neck, so there's a silhouette. It's gonna look a lot better. We just have to figure out how to make all this nonsense work. One more thing we're gonna do before the mouth is we're gonna remove the eyes, because Dementors are described as being totally blind. You're not gonna see any of this because of the fabric, so we'll probably just stick some tape in there. I just don't want the big glowing white things. So we're gonna mark a line. So now I cut this off. Now this can go right there, right?
Much better.
Looks more like a dude.
Do Dementors have ears? I don't think they have ears. Should I just chop his ears off?
Wait, do they have a nose?
Not really.
You should just chop it off.
Just chop his I'm hoping I can just use the snips for this. Don't make me get the big guns.
Oh my god, they're mutilating this guy.
Perfectly normal things happening. Okay. Does he still work?
There we go.
Because I know everything about you. I'm inside your walls.
I don't know, I'm gonna let Jamie do her magic.
Please call the fire department to get me out of the walls. It's dark and I'm scared.
The other thing we did was we glued this plastic to the sides of him. This is just part of a plastic cup that we cut apart. So if you look at a Dementor, his mouth is like this circle shape. So we're gonna try and recreate that circular shape there. I'll probably have to sculpt some lips or something. Sculpt his nose, sculpt over where we put the duct tape, and just make him look more Dementor-ish.
That looks awesome.
Thank you. I think like the mouth really makes it. Like he's got lips now, so it's a thing.
It's
It's
I think the risk we took of cutting it all apart totally paid off.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think like we've completely transformed him, and now he's proper Dementor. We've got to let this dry overnight. So in the meantime, I think let's work on Harry Potter.
It's a good starting point, right? It's just like a terrified, screaming kid.
She's scary looking.
The goal is to make this look like Harry Potter, but after like an hours-long battle with a Dementor. So we've got some clothes, right?
Yeah, we got the super stylish outfit. We've got our scarf, and we even have our Gryffindor robe.
Absolutely not.
Glad I have a
Perish.
scarf because this neck is really strange.
It's real weird.
I can hide a bunch of stuff.
We have a wand that is way too large, so
Why is it that big?
it's for big magic. The bigger the wand, the bigger the magic.
Let's see what we're working with here. No legs, no feet.
No, there
not
are
even
though.
any-
They're in the dress.
Oh, and then the hands too, right?
yeah.
You know what we gotta do, right? We gotta cut this hair.
Oh, we're real good at cutting hair.
But you know what? I got my trusty hair cutting scissors. This is gonna go perfectly.
Yeah, you got this.
I've tried to cut hair 2 times before. The first time was perfect. It was on our Scarecrow makeover, and I cut all of its hair, and I think it was a perfect result.
Does that really count as hair? It was straw.
The other time, though, I did try to cut our son's hair one time, and that was a disaster.
He had to go to the salon afterwards.
I got a good feeling about this, though. I think it's gonna go pretty well. I have the picture.
I mean,
of
Harry
young
Potter's
Harry
hair
Potter
is
here.
basically
Just
like a
follow the
bowl
reference, right?
cut, so it's not too hard.
Little bits at a time.
Don't need any hair right there.
Goodness.
Look at that. Huh? Look. I figure the scarf will cover up any of my big mistakes.
Are you gonna wrap the scarf around his head?
Look.
Just keep going.
You know what's missing?
What?
A little flourish.
You don't have a lot of experience with hair, do you? Having it, cutting it.
I think we're almost done here.
What?
Why is this side so much longer?
I don't know. Goodness.
Does it not look good in the front?
Um,
Can you even tell the difference? Come on.
it certainly is a haircut.
What if I brush it? Sometimes when you're learning a new thing, it doesn't always work out. But it's still worth trying. You should always be trying to learn new stuff. And don't be afraid to fail. I do think we should probably get a wig though. This is pretty bad.
Yeah.
One of the best things about what we do is we're always building new things, but every time we build an animatronic or a prop, it always has its own challenges. We're pretty much always in a constant state of needing to learn new things, and one of our favorite ways to do that is with Skillshare, the sponsor of today's video.
Skillshare
Boo.
is a creative-focused online learning
Nobody
community
likes
with
sponsors.
3D print, Ariana Lesser actually. You can also learn here. Okay, we ordered a Harry Potter wig that hopefully will fit this tiny little head. That's gonna get here later today. In the meantime, time to paint.
Wow.
Okay, there's one more detail we have to add, and I'm not even sure you're gonna see it. You're probably not, but it has to be there to make it Harry Potter.
I actually painted these hands before I painted the face, and originally I was going for a kind of frostbitten gray look for the skin here, with some dead looking fingers and some infected veins coming down the wrist. But the tone was too close to the Dementor, so when I painted the face, I ended up going for a more natural skin color.
Something doesn't match. So I changed directions with the color of the skin tone, so I think we can fix this with like a light wash of that flesh tone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot better.
That's better.
Okay, so now we put the hair back on, right?
Oh.
Look, see, it's fine.
It's not even close to fine.
Okay, fine. The wig finally showed up in the mail.
Well, it's huge, but it looks better. Way too big. Maybe like that?
I mean, I could try to cut it again.
No.
The other thing we got is these glasses, which they're too big for me. Like, how is this a child's costume? That is insanely too big. This doesn't make any sense. So we went to our trusty 3D printer and made some new versions of these. We made some glasses that actually fit, and we 3D printed a wand that is appropriately sized.
Ah, much better.
Okay, look, it's not terrible.
But it's real close. I don't know what to do. Like,
I don't know.
hear me out for a second.
Okay.
All right, so we put these on. Take this guy, put him on. Something like that. And then I think we give it another shot.
Okay.
And we try to cut it a little better. And then you come in here with the scarf and it kind of hides his weird neck thing, but also the back of the hair, which looks terrible.
It has potential. We can try to save this.
I guess worst case scenario, we just go back to this, but let's give this one more shot.
We've called in the expert. This is Sarah, my sister, and she cuts hair for a hobby.
I don't know if this is a hobby or this is something. So we're gonna try to work some magic, holy water, say a prayer, and do something here. And
It's not that bad.
no, it's that bad. It's yeah. Look at his face. It's that bad.
Ugh, they actually got a hairstylist in. Good.
How's it going?
Well, good patient, doesn't say much. Definitely gonna need some product. We're gonna do some dry shampoo. For him, we are going to use it to deshine him because this is a synthetic fake wig. So we'll deshine it and make it a little more manageable. Whatever scragglies are left, we'll cut them off and try to style it, and maybe you won't look so sad.
Well,
Saved, he still looks sad.
It's a miracle. No, he doesn't look sad. Thank you for saving our butts.
he
This
looks
is
a little better.
now.
You're so welcome.
Oh god, yeah. Looking like Dora the Explorer. Dora. Sticky tack. Thank you. You just gonna hang out?
Dora the Destroyer.
This looks so good. The
Ugh.
funny thing is that we're gonna just cover it all up with fabric.
Aw.
You guys got to see it. You know it's there, and it's weird because, like, in the movies, there's no consistent look for these guys. Sometimes they're shrouded, sometimes you see kind of something of a head, and like even in the book.
It never really describes it that much. And that's why every movie they look different, because you know, you can kind of interpret that the way you want, and I like your interpretation.
We put the costume back on for a base layer and cut it all up to fit our new shape. We also cut and tore up the bottom to create strips. We'd originally planned to use more chicken wire to pose these into flowing strands, kind of like our chicken wire ghost, but
What if we just put like a fan in here?
A fan?
Close it. Yeah.
Let's try it. Nice.
It's not the worst idea. Just use a fan. That is what a Dementor is supposed to look like. We're not making a statue here, and he's supposed to be windswept. Let's use the wind and actually like have it have motion.
Good idea with the fan. Wow, this is awesome.
Just gotta use a wire brush and rough those up a little bit.
Whoosh. So this is black cheesecloth. This was actually part of his costume, so I'm gonna reattach this, and I also got some more of it. So basically we're just gonna add a bunch of layers of this and slice it up to create that little bit of extra texture. We're working on the head, and it's actually been a couple of days, and we cannot get this head figured out. So we tried doing like these strips across his head, and that didn't look good. So I ripped it all off, and now we're back to the start. The problem is there are so many versions of the Dementor in the films, and we can't really decide which version we want to do, but I have an idea, and we're gonna use some spray glue and tape, and it's gonna work. It's gonna look great.
Okay, that looks awesome.
I think this is good. This is working. I might end up having like a hood later, just some sort of.
It all looks good. That's the whole problem. Everything we've done looks cool, and it's hard to pick one. All right, you should cut the hole in the shoulders. Okay, so now he goes on.
I feel a little bad for the scarf. I like a nice scarf.
Before we show you Harry Potter's tragic downfall, we have one Harvester of Souls animatronic to give away thanks to Techie Toys.
If you're interested, make sure you subscribe and let us know in the comments below what you thought of the project and what you would do with your Harvester of Souls.
Thanks for watching, y'all. Until next time, stay wicked.
Yo, it's creepy as heck, though.
A few months ago, we made this little dancing Freddy, and you guys seem to really...
We want to watch some more of this, or we want to try something else? More? Okay. We could look at Springtrap or a witch makeover. Yeah? Oh, God. Ugh. Let's get Springtrap, Dollar Store Witch, and a haunted dollhouse. Huh? Geez, I'm sorry.
A few months ago, we made this little dancing Freddy, and you guys seem to really like...
We'll get some more tomorrow.
This time we're going way bigger. We're going to make a full-size Springtrap animatronic.
And to be true to character, we're going to make it out of this animated skeleton. Because Springtrap is more than just an animatronic. William Afton's body got crushed inside of the suit and became one with it.
First step, paint him purple.
We do need to make him fleshy, put a little meat on his bones.
You got your patient on the table here?
I do. He's ready. This is what the Halloween industry calls corpsing a skeleton. There are a bunch of different ways to do this, but the way I like to do it is using a little spray glue, laying a layer of that down, and then tapping on some cotton to give it some texture. I like to work in small sections so that the glue is still wet when you tap your cotton down. And then later on, we're going to come back and go over the cotton with latex.
He's so fuzzy.
Yeah, he's going through his awkward fuzzy phase, but we're going to fix that. We're going to take some liquid latex and then we're going to tap down just the cotton, not the whole thing. And that's going to give us this really great skin texture. There's another really popular method of corpsing a skeleton using saran wrap or like a plastic tarp and a heat gun. It almost has like this mummified look. But for this guy, I want him more meaty, so we're gonna use the other method. Ultimately, there's no right or wrong way to corpse a skeleton. Just experiment, have fun, and keep in mind the story of your character. Now it's time to move on to paint. Because his whole body is gonna be covered in a suit, you're not gonna really see a lot of this except for through the cracks in his suit and the seams. So I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it, but I do want it to be really bright red and stand out.
What's going on?
I don't like it. I don't think this is working. My original thought was to have like some red fleshy patches with some bones sticking out, but it just doesn't look good. So I think I'm gonna try something else. I'll be back.
Just like when we made Freddy, we can actually download a 3D model of Springtrap and get a really good look at the parts of his suit and all the little details. By the way, if you ever want to look at this kind of stuff, there's a great website called Sketchfab where you can type in the name of your favorite character, and there's probably a bunch of 3D models that you can look at right in your web browser. For the Springtrap suit, we're actually going to 3D print a lot of these parts, and then we're going to cover them in fabric and paint everything just to kind of get that withered old Springtrappy look.
Fun.
Printing here will allow us to be super accurate to the actual character, which is our main priority. The only downside is it's going to take a while. There's a lot of parts and they're pretty big, so we're going to get the printer going so that we can work on other stuff in the meantime.
Okay, I did a test on the leg. I painted the whole thing red and then did a black wash over that. I just think that looks better. Kind of muscly, kind of like who knows what happened in that suit.
Nobody knows what happened in the suit. It makes no sense. Where are his bones?
Where did
they
his
just get
bones go?
crushed?
I don't know.
The bones
Like,
don't
you can go back in
exist.
time and just spray paint the whole thing red. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Sometimes you change your mind. It's okay.
Yeah, and just make a little more work for yourself. He's all red. It took a lot more red paint than I thought it would, but I think it looks cool. Now I'm gonna put a black wash over the whole thing, and that's gonna seep into all those nooks and crannies and really make all the texture stand out.
Looks like a charred body. Which is accurate. Yeah, I can't forget to Britishify his teeth. Because that's a little detail about William Afton that a lot of people forget, is that he's British.
Animatronics, but this one was designed to be both an animatronic or a suit that somebody could wear. Long story short, the guy got in the suit and it malfunctioned, and the metal spring locks that wrap around everything to hold it together, they trapped him in there forever, hence the name Springtrap. There's more to it than that, but for our purposes, we need to worry about the metal spring locks because that's what we're going to build next. To make them, we're going to use this EVA foam, and we're going to cut some strips, and then we're going to paint it to look like metal and wrap it around the skeleton. I'm gonna come up to where we want to put the spring lock, and I'm gonna wrap it around kind of where I want it to go. We'll mark it, we'll cut it to size, and then we'll put some glue on the ends and basically glue them on one at a time and just work our way across all the limbs. Piece of cake.
Interesting.
So inside his body, or under his suit, I should say, there's like these red rope-looking things.
They kind of look like intestines, so that's what we're gonna go with. They're intestines.
They're in places that don't make any, like why are there intestines around his ankles, for example? Doesn't make any sense, so don't even worry about it. But we need to make those. We started with some red yarn. We did some tests where we like wrapped it in latex, and then we did another test.
And we actually tried some pool noodles,
And then we thought about using this EVA foam dowel, but that would be really expensive.
But what we ended up with is something called backer rod, and it's foam tubes meant for filling gaps.
It's for weather stripping. This whole bag was $3.
And we got 2 different sizes because he does have several sizes of intestines within him, so.
Because he does have several sizes of intestines within him? Yes, usually people do.
Super happy with them, but I think before we put them on, maybe we should put all the rest of the things together first. That way we can assemble it all at once.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of parts.
There is, and like if we start going one way and then it doesn't work, but then if we have everything made and it doesn't work, I don't know. Let's just keep building. How's it going?
Good. It's going really good, I think. Look at all these pieces that we printed so far. Springtrap's been around for like 30 years and his suit's falling apart and it's all decayed and withered. So that's what all these kind of cracks and holes are. This thing took, I think, like 7 hours to print. One of the pieces like failed and I had to glue it back together. It's been a thing. I'm hoping that the seams on the outside are not gonna matter because the next thing we're gonna do is cover these in green fleece to give it that fur suit look. Knocking on wood, we've had no major problems so far. We do have a lot more printing to go, but so far the bamboo has been awesome.
So I'm gonna start covering these things in some green fabric. We went to the fabric store and luckily we found this awesome green fleece stuff. It's not too fluffy, it's just got like the right amount of fuzz, and I think the color matches pretty well.
See, the funny thing is, the suit used to be yellow. It's just really freaking old. So I'd say you'd want to age some yellow fabric, and that'd be more close to the real flavor.
I'm just gonna roll it on there and make some darts wherever I need to. It went on mostly smoothly. This is the only place where it bunched up a little bit. I think I'll have to trim that. Other than that, I think it's good. So I'm gonna start trimming all the extra off. I'm trying to cut at the seam here so that it lines up and I don't have any gaps. It took an hour and a half to cut out all these little holes. I've got to find a faster way to do that. But look at them.
A knife?
Awesome. So I think it was time well spent. Now I just have like a gazillion more pieces to go. So I will see you later.
A few days later, we had all the parts printed, and we ended up using a utility knife to cut out all the holes, which went way faster.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Knives are usually better for getting into
We're going to
holes.
start with the skeleton hand the same way we did with the rest of the body. This is going to be great because we can put all this
You're
stuff on top of
back.
it, but we can also use this little ball joint thing to attach it back to the wrist, which is going to be really helpful.
Yeet.
Watch, it can fit inside the hand, and this thing sticks out the back to attach to the arm. For inside the fingers, we're going to use this bendable wire. One trick that we've learned is instead of just having one wire per finger, we actually make like a U shape, which is going to work as 2 fingers. In between all the little finger pieces here, there's like these knuckles, and we're going to use this little piece of pool noodle to go in between all the fingers.
Cut a bunch of pieces of pool noodles, painted them all silver, and we also painted the hand thing red. I was able to mostly fit it inside the glove, and then some hot glue will hold it in place. Then it was just a matter of sliding the knuckles and the fingers onto the wires. Technically it worked, but it really wasn't looking right.
That looks terrible. I hate it. It looks like we just stuffed balls of tinfoil in between the fingers. I think the wire method is working though. Like if we can ignore the giant silver weird things, what do? Do we just start over?
We have foam dowels we could use.
Okay. Plan B. Round 2, we made some new knuckles with this EVA foam dowel, and then we painted it silver again. Okay, that is way better. And I like that the knuckles are kind of roundish too, so like, you know, it actually looks like a knuckle. And check it out. We have a hand, and it looks awesome. Look at that.
This is Springtrap. Spoiler alert, I've watched this before. It's gonna fail the first time.
I'm so glad we redid those pieces.
Okay, we got the 3 arm pieces put on. They're just temporarily on there. We shoved some bubble wrap in, so that works for now. And we just really want to make sure it works.
These are really, really heavy. Heavier than I expected.
Shifted none.
Perfection.
What was that? Oh.
Oh.
See?
Shoot.
We have a problem. What is happening?
It's
see
too
this?
heavy.
Now watch this.
Is it? It's too heavy.
Yes, it's too heavy. This animatronic has this feature where you can adjust the arms. So you can kind of decide like what position they're in. And then underneath there are some servos that are actually moving the arms. I don't think the servo would have any problem moving this weight, but these clicky, adjusty things can't handle it. Crap.
Well, now we're just gonna throw the whole thing away. No, we're not.
It's been so many days, you guys. It took so long to make these.
And these arms don't come off, so I don't even know how we would fix that. We just gotta make it lighter? Like remake the arm pieces, maybe? We're like a week away from Halloween, and this needs to be done.
I don't know what to say. I just have to go think about this.
We'll be back.
Okay, we needed a break, so we're outside and we're gonna try to figure out where we're gonna put Springtrap on Halloween night. Normally over here is very dark and boring, so we have to keep all the fun stuff on that side. But this year, we got these next level smart holiday lights from Govee, who are the sponsor of today's video.
Govee's a company that makes super popular holiday and Christmas Govee happy music.
Hands with these adapters, weatherproof too. And you don't even
If you want to,
have these up.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace the forearm and the hand, and maybe this part too, with foam. And that should be a lot easier. Since we have a 3D model already, it should be pretty easy to make a pattern off of this. To make the pattern, we're gonna cover this whole thing in saran wrap and then wrap it all in duct tape really tight, and that's gonna give us the form. Then we'll trim it, cut it off, and then from that we can flatten it out to make our pattern for the EVA foam.
This is basically the same thing we did on the glowing spider, right?
It is.
Spooter.
Yeah, it's a good technique.
All right, so this is EVA foam. It's 4mm, and I'm just gonna lay my pattern out and trace it out. They use this a lot in cosplay. It's super light, it's flexible. It's gonna work. It has to.
Yeah, EVA foam is pretty versatile.
Once the pieces were ready, we used contact cement to glue it all together. This stuff works great on EVA foam, but it's pretty toxic, so we always wear a respirator when using it.
Yeah, but no gloves.
There we go. I transferred all the holes onto my pattern. Now I'm gonna transfer those onto our thing and cut them out. I think it's pretty good. It's squishing a little bit this way, but that's pretty round. It's gonna work. What you got going?
I'm remaking the hands again. So these are the 3D printed pieces. This thing all by itself weighs about 9 grams. And then once we wrap the fabric on it, that plus the glue is another 3 grams. That's 12 grams per one of these, and there's 3 of them per finger. That's a lot of grams of weight. So I'm recreating them out of pink XPS foam and just sort of carving it and cutting it to the same shape and size. And this piece in comparison weighs less than 1 gram versus this 9 grams. So across all the fingers, that should be a lot lighter than it was before, and I really hope it works, because this isn't the only idea I have left. Maybe he'll just have no hands. He lost them in the Great Animatronic War. Please work.
The foam knuckles got a little more paint with some silver rub and buff to make them look more metallic, and then I used those and the new fingers to remake the hands again. This time though, I included the broken and missing fingers, which looked great. The heavier hand came in at just under 260 grams, and the new lighter one was about 140. All we can do is hope it's enough.
Here we are, 3 days later. We've remade all the parts. We're gonna test it, and it better work. Stay.
It lives.
Good sign.
Yes. No! 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 Right.
Alright, what if we I bent his arm. So instead
Okay.
of it being way out here, it's like in here a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. That works.
Is it?
Hey, there's no clicking this time. Okay, yes.
Okay. So we just have to bend the arm a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
That
Sounds like
makes sense,
fun.
Because if it's fully extended, the force on the joint is a lot heavier. So we're really cutting it close, though. I think we're gonna have to be real careful with whatever else we add.
Yeah, but it works.
You know what? If it
works.
doesn't work later, you saw it work here. High five.
Now that we're back on track, I can start working on the torso. So I made a template using some foam that we got in some packaging. This is half of his body. So that's gonna wrap around like that. So I'm gonna trace this onto our EVA.
I feel like the torso pieces would be fine to just continue with the 3D printing thing because that doesn't need to move. Dinner smells amazing, by the way. What? Dinner's gonna be done soon.
Now we're gonna glue this on and start marking and cutting the holes in it.
So this piece right here is his underwear, or, you know, his pelvis, or whatever. I don't know what you call this. See, we 3D printed this out based on the model just like everything else, but it's not gonna fit because it's too small. This is a great example of when we turn one character into another character. Their proportions don't always match up. Sometimes you just gotta wing it a little bit and change things around to make it fit, and this is one of those times. It looks like a big diaper.
Yep.
It really
Made
does.
it extra large. So I think maybe we'll trim it to.
Ooh, you made some fettuccine?
Or we could just leave it and have him be wearing a diaper.
We could also do that. It'd be a much different character, but. Look at our boy. He's getting there. We painted all the insides black, and he's starting to really take shape. What's wrong?
Well, it's October 20th today, and we don't normally have this problem, but in 1 week, the FNAF movie comes out. A few days after that is Halloween, which we need to use this for. I don't know if we're going to get it done in time.
Everything took way longer than we expected it to, and we did not expect to have to redo, like, the arms.
Also, look at how much 3D printing filament we've gone through, and we didn't even use half the part. It's a bit like we're so deep in time and money on this project, and I don't even know if it's going to work. We haven't even done the head yet.
You know, but at least, like, the head is the last big thing to do, right? It's just the head. It should be easy.
We just got to keep going. We 3D printed the head before we knew that we weren't going to use all this stuff, so we do have it, and we scaled it up to match the same scale as all the rest of the body, and check this out, watch. It just so happens to fit over the skull perfectly. It is really heavy though. I'm not really expecting it to work. We're probably gonna have to make it out of foam, but let's test it out. I think we might have finally caught a break. That actually worked. So do we just use it as is?
Yes.
That's great. That's really good. For the jaw though, this thing is sort of really, really weak, so we're definitely not gonna 3D print something. Instead, we're gonna make this out of foam, and we're gonna use a pattern from The Regular Sauce, who's a YouTuber who made
The Regular Sauce
Springtrap cosplay, probably the best Springtrap anyone's ever made. So he's got a really good pattern. We're gonna use that, make it out of foam, and then I guess put the rest of it together.
The pattern that we were going on was made for like a costume. So we cut a big neck hole in, and then we actually cut a line for the jawline. So the idea is it's gonna sit like right on top of his jaw like that. That should fit pretty well. The only issue now is the foam overlaps where the rest of the head piece is. So I think I'm gonna cut along this line, and it'll make a nice curve to follow this curve. Hey, look, he's talking.
Yeah, he's got little heckin' teeths.
To make his ears, we cut out the templates, traced them on the foam, and cut them out just like all the other pieces. Except these ones were a little different because we put some
Food
inside of the ears so that we could not only
He's in one of the fresh and spicy bowls we got.
We took these little pieces of wire.
Ooh, it's
and
hot.
cut them so that it would create some little feet so we can attach it to
Steaming
the
my
head.
mic.
So now I guess we just have to get fabric on these top head pieces, and then we're gonna take everything back off and we're gonna paint it and wither it all.
There's so much steam coming off my dinner right now. actually painted or drew a Springtrap on one of my pairs of pants. Because I'm just that kind of guy. Oh yeah, the dingification really sells it.
The paint job on these, Jamie, is incredible. I love it.
I love making things look old and gross.
And our strategy has always been start by making it new and then make it gross instead of trying to make it gross from the beginning. And I just think the results come out like way better. It's awesome.
It was finally time to put everything together. We started at the feet, which we painted metallic, and started working our way up from there. To attach the suit to the skeleton, I drilled some holes and ran a wire through the bones, and then attached the wire to the inside of the suit. This kept things nice and light while allowing us to position it exactly how we wanted. This project could have been a total failure, and there were several times where we thought it just wasn't going to work. But you just keep going. You push through the hard parts, do the best you can, and more often than not, you'll come out the other side having learned a few things and with something cool to show for it.
Oh yeah, this looks epic. Look at all those weird little noodle things.
Turning animatronics into other animatronics is a lot of fun, but you'll probably see us start to build a lot more of our own from scratch this year. Nothing could go wrong with that, right? Maybe we'll even open a pizzeria.
Yeah, we already saw with the Mickey Mouse one that kinda did go a little wrong already, huh? God damn, he looks
To make his
spooky.
eyes, we needed to keep it really light, so we're using a styrofoam ball cut in half, and a googly eye. The plastic part of the eye gets cut off, and we're going to use that for the iris in the front, so we cut a hole in the styrofoam ball to fit it, cleared out the back, and then gave the eye a little paint job.
Yeah. Oop. Bump the mic.
These eye rings that go in front of the eyeballs, which make no sense, but we stopped asking questions about Springtrap's suit a long time ago. We glued in the eyeballs and then made some eyelids out of foam and glued those in place as well. Finally, last but not least, my favorite part, all the little details.
Look at the boy.
He looks amazing. Before we see if he actually works or not, we just want to say thank you for watching. This was a really big project for us. We had a bunch of problems, but we pushed through them, and we just really appreciate you guys watching the video.
We have a bunch of extra arms left, so if this inspired you to make your own Springtrap, let us know in the comments, and we'll pick some ones, paint them up, and send them to you.
Oh, I'm stuck. Until next time, stay wicked.
It'd be cool if the wires like shot out sparks into stuff too,
I always come back.
Look at him.
Hide if you want. It did not save the others. It will not save you. Your time is up.
Where'd they get these voice lines from?
Today we're going to give this Home Depot witch animatronic a total makeover.
But the challenge in this video is we're going to do it on a budget. We're only going to use things
Yeah?
that at the dollar store.
What's that?
Here we're going to head inside and see what we
We're
can
going
find.
back to ESA and ATP and get a couple more cans full of ammo.
Okay. You're also going to love all over me and give me plenty of snugs.
stuff. Our general goal for this makeover isn't to change her into something totally different, but just make her better. Exactly how we're gonna do that? No idea. We're just kind of looking for inspiration and getting lots of random stuff. But that's the fun of this challenge. We can't really plan ahead and overthink everything. We just gotta go with what we can find.
Pool noodles.
Well, we found a lot of stuff, but also not a lot of stuff. This seems like a very small amount of things to do a whole makeover.
It really does. I don't know. Wish us luck.
Here we go. It's another 7-foot tall animatronic.
Yes.
Because they're all huge this year for some reason.
Step 1, base.
Got it.
This goes right here.
Whole C goes up here.
There we go.
Got it.
Does it go that way?
I cannot tell from this picture which side of that is the front.
So she has no feet and no legs because she just has this giant skirt.
Yeah.
That helps. Another thing that's nice is it's just one pole. So if
She
we
got
want to change her
boobs.
posture or her stance or anything, you know, we just have this one pole to contend with instead of several, which is kind of nice. And now I imagine we could connect these wires up here. So this whole staff has LEDs inside of it, which is pretty cool.
A
So
platypus?
This.
This goes here. She got
No, a
Want to make
witch.
a neck? Just wear a long sleeve turtleneck.
right.
Plug this one in. She's actually got a bunch of servos in her head, which is like a new thing for this year. We're starting to see more complex animations in these animatronics, which is kind of neat. The face sculpt is not bad.
And she actually has color. Like she's got a little
Yeah.
bit of red on her cheeks. And
It actually has eyebrows.
now we turn her on.
Please come closer and let me get a good look at you. Oh, dear, what's happened to your face? Oh, I'm so happy you come to help celebrate. And so have all my critters slithering around your feet.
Oh, yeah. I'll change that later.
In the right direction, and adding just more stuff.
I didn't realize until
Her eyes look
I
even, like,
was about to go live,
and
but
very
it was
cool.
too
I do
late.
wish she had some body motion, but
I do think there's a lot of stuff we can do, so let's get started with our makeover. Okay, let's go over the rules of the challenge. Now, we're gonna use all the materials that we got at the dollar store. But for tools, we're gonna use some real basic stuff like a screwdriver and utility knife and pliers, like things we already had
Ooh,
around.
hot.
Real basic things, but you can even get these at the dollar store too, so I think they count.
the thing we're not going to use though is like the airbrush or the 3D printer. We're going to keep it to basic stuff.
And for materials like acrylic paints, for example, you saw that we could get these at the dollar store, but we already have them all, like super glue and blue tape and stuff. Like, we're not gonna buy it again, like, but you can get these at the dollar store, so they're fair game.
The one exception to the rule though is going to be liquid latex. We really, really want to repaint her face just a little bit, and we can't do that with just acrylic because if we do, it's going to crack off and flake and not stick, and it's just bad news. So if we mix a little bit
Bad
of
news
acrylic
bears.
with the latex, it'll stick to her face. It'll be great.
Or if you don't want to do that, you can just use latex house paint, and that would work just fine too, in place of this.
I definitely have a lot of anxiety about what we are going to do with her. Like, usually we come up with a plan and then we go find all the materials we need and then we put her together. But this is like backwards. This is like we're gonna go get some random materials and then try and make something with it.
We do
And
have string though, Jamie.
yes, we sure have string and some creepy cloth.
Holding
Moss.
back and like using 5 materials only, not really in our comfort zone, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, first thing is broad strokes before we get into fine details, and what I'm gonna try to do is fix her pose, so instead of being in that classic robotic animatronic pose, we're gonna try to bend her over and kind of make her look like a crooked old hag in the swamp. Also, when her eyes turn on, they look up. She's 7 feet tall. Why is she looking up? You know, if you wanted to go real simple and just make her shorter, you could just take this pole off and turn her into a goblin.
That's so small.
Or she's like a little halfling or something, you know? My objective is to put a little bit of a bend into each of these poles, and I'm not gonna use anything fancy. I'm literally gonna hit it with a hammer and a brick.
Is it working?
Yes. This is high-tech stuff, you guys. On this top piece, if I just start hitting this with a hammer, it's gonna deform the hole and I'll never get the thing back in. So I'm gonna use a wine cork and stuff it in there, and that should at least help a little bit to keep the shape of the bottom. Okay, let's try that.
Problems?
I can't get the wine cork in. Come on. Oh, okay, good. Let's see if this goes in. at least a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Okay, that'll do.
Oh, she is definitely hunched now.
Look at that. Oh, my back. She's like a 100-year-old swamp witch. Like, she doesn't have good
Blech.
posture. This is great. So with just the bend in the spine,
Fluff.
you can kind of see what happens here is that now she's looking too far down. So I'm going to do one more thing, and that's put a little bit of a counter bend kind of up towards the top of the spine and the neck. Look, she's looking right at me. That is way better. Now instead of the staff being straight up and down, the staff is like this. So what we're going to do is bend the arm carefully without breaking it. You saw
Breaks
that?
it.
A little bit of bend in there. Basically just reposition that arm so that it looks like she's actually leaning on the staff. This hand conveniently already swivels, so I shouldn't have to do anything. And look at that. So we've got a little bit of asymmetry with the arms. They're not both at the same exact level. We've got a nice pose. She's leaning on the staff. Perfect. Now we can move on to the clothes.
They actually did a decent job of weathering her skirt, but her shirt looks like she just bought it out of JCPenney. So we are gonna fix that. I am gonna put a bunch of layers of creepy cloth over her shirt, but I'm gonna use this as a base layer. So what I wanna do first is weather this so it looks all gross and grungy. Now I'm gonna paint her. I'm gonna give her some moss greens and some mold and mildew and I don't know, swamp goo.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm finally gonna use something that we got at the dollar store. We've got creepy cloth and they had beige and they had this dark gray, but I really want green, so I'm just gonna paint them green. And we have green creepy cloth, mostly green.
It
I made
looks
3 of these, and what I think I'm going to do is add them to her original shawl, and we'll throw them all up there and chop them up. I think having all these different colors will be nice because it'll create some depth in there. I think I'm actually going to use her old shawl and put it on her skirt and add to this stuff. So maybe put it in front here. That looks better, and now she has a full thing instead of like, why was it only on part of her skirt? I did make a 3rd one, but I like how this is looking. So I think we're going to hold off on this and use it later, maybe on the hat, maybe in her basket, something like that. This plastic skeleton we got, I think I'm going to use his bones for something later, but the head, I'm going to rip that off, paint it gold, and we'll use it as like a clasp for her shawl.
woo party.
When you're working on projects like this, it's a great idea to surround yourself with inspiration. And one of the ways we like to do that is with Displate. The sponge folds
Look at this.
inside your maker.
Glitter.
They're covered in glitter?
Yes,
Glitter bones?
sparkle bones.
They're kind of fuzzy too.
What's the glitter? Glitter makes them look fuzzy.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
They're growing mold or something. I'm gonna use some of the twine that we got and just hot glue it between the bones to make the necklace.
Bones.
All right, dollar store bone necklace. We're gonna keep the skin tone of the hand as is, but I'm gonna add in some shading and fix up her fingernails.
Hey, Jamie,
Yeah.
are you technically finger painting right now? Doing some finger
Boo.
paint?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I'm painting the other hand and I'm realizing that the base coat, like the plastic color of this, is not the same as the plastic color of this hand. This is brownish, this is greenish. They don't match. It makes no sense. Also, the sculpt is completely different. Like this is like a wrinkly, weird, bumpy hand and this is not.
Maybe she cut the hand off of a rival witch and stole her hand, or
And put it in place of her hand?
dipped it in some mud, or I don't know.
Yes. For her
This.
we kind of did the same thing. Mixed up some brown, green, black, and kind of smushed it on there to make it dirty and moldy.
We're gonna move on to this basket, which is already pretty cool. I love this toad or frog. Is this a frog or a toad? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. I love the bottle too. I think we're gonna start by taking all these pieces off and definitely doing a paint job on the basket itself, and then hopefully adding some stuff to it.
He ain't
This is
got no
that
butt.
LED mist maker cauldron that we got at the dollar store. Let's check it out, see what it looks like. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So my goal is I'm gonna try to take this thing apart and put it inside the basket so that there's like a poisonous mist emanating from inside of it. So this hole right here is where the bottle was. It fits in there like that. But what I think we're gonna try to do is we're gonna take this thing and we're gonna stuff it through our hole, and then I'm gonna position the steam to come right out of that hole, which I think should work pretty well. Another nice thing is I think I can just conveniently fill this water basin from right here. Oh, that works, awesome. Although pouring the water back out, that's,
That's a
that water's
difference.
never coming out. That's okay, just don't hold this upside down. Plug it in, yeah, look at that. That's perfect, that totally worked.
For the basket, I'm gonna put a dark wash on it to like really seep into those cracks, and then we'll follow that up with some dry brushing, bring some of the texture back. For the frog, I'm gonna keep him as is because he's adorable and I love him. For this
Froggy.
bottle, we're gonna use this poison label that we made, and I'm gonna glue that on there. And then we're gonna wrap some twine around the top, make the cork look like an actual cork, and then make it kind of look dusty. Next, we're gonna use these little wooden rose curls to make mushrooms. And I got a stick from outside and broke it up, so we're gonna use those for the stems. Look how cute it is.
Funky little mushroom.
There we go. Look how cute this is. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want to carry around this basket for Halloween and just give Lethal Lily something else. I think we're gonna keep the shape of the staff the same, but what I'm gonna do is paint over the wood to just give it more of that wood grain texture, and then maybe we'll wrap it with some twine, hang some trinkets and stuff off of it. To improve the paint job on this skull, I mixed the paint with a tiny bit of water, brushed it on, and patted it away with a wet paper towel before it dried. Something like that.
Spooky.
Okay, we're gonna paint her face, but instead of base coating out the whole face and starting from scratch, I think what I wanna do is really just try and enhance what's there. We'll give her some sunken cheekbones, try and make her expression a little more evil, maybe put some wrinkles in the brow. She's made of latex, so it's a stretchy rubber, and usually to paint a latex mask like this, we will use latex house paint. But we're not doing that on this project because it's the dollar store challenge. So instead, we're gonna use acrylic paint, but mix that with a little bit of latex. You can't just use acrylic paint because you need something that's flexible, and if you just use acrylic, it's just gonna crack and fall off.
How are you feeling about painting the face? You got this?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Hard maybe. I don't have the base coat color. I don't have more green. So if I go too heavy on like the black and the shadows, I can't undo that unless I want to mix up and match this color.
Well, everybody's rooting for you. Let's see what you can do.
The witch looks a lot more menacing now.
Well, how'd it go? That looks so much better. Unbelievable.
She's got wrinkles, and she's like scary grandma. Come into my swamp.
I especially love that you like basically added your own eyebrow stuff.
And I use like 2 colors, brown and black. That's it. We're in the home stretch, so one of the last things we're doing is her hat. Now, it's not a bad hat, so I think all I'm gonna do is give it the same treatment that I did her shirt, so color it with some blacks and browns. We're gonna leave the water lily because her name is Lethal Lily, so that can stay. But we'll just make the hat look dirtier. These are the plastic bags that Lethal Lily came in, so we're just gonna stuff it up in her hat to give it a little more shape. There we go. We were just about done. I was gonna put her belt on, but this is not working for me. I think it makes her look like a caveman. What do you think?
Like, it's cool, and I like that you achieved that with dollar store stuff, but I don't know, it doesn't really fit like everything else.
Also, these bones are super fragile. Look at this. That one broke
Oh,
in
it
half.
broke already?
Already. Yeah, and we didn't do anything to it. I think it has to go.
I'll wear it.
Okay. So instead, I've got one more piece of that creepy cloth that I painted, and then we got one more piece of the gray. I think I want to drape it here so it's more like a cowl, and I think that's gonna look good.
I don't know, personally, I think she looked better in the brown turtleneck.
No. No, she did not.
Before we see Lethal Lily's full makeover, we just want to say thank you for watching. This is our first time doing like a dollar store challenge kind of thing, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when you have constraints on what you're doing, it really forces you to be creative and think outside the box, and I'm really happy with what we came up with. If you want to see more of this type of stuff, let us know in the comments.
Our wicked shout-outs this week go out to 9-year-old JJ, who made these incredibly cool monster books. Amazing work, JJ. And to 6-year-old Benji, who sent us these super awesome pictures that she drew. Great work to both of you. We really appreciate you sending us stuff, and we love seeing what you're doing.
Thanks again to Displate for sponsoring this video. You can check out their awesome metal posters using the link below. And until next time, stay wicked.
Now she looks a lot more like a creepy old hag.
Come along into my lair. I'll be sure to take good care of you, my pretty. I just need a few ingredients that you seem to have. One eye, a liver. Oh, the stars are in perfect alignment tonight. It must be nearly time to help the spirit arise. Oh, I'm so happy you've come to help celebrate. You'll be fine. A fine potion to make me immortal.
We're turning this Barbie dream.
And last video for the day. Turning Barbie dream house into a Barbie nightmare house.
Dream house into a scream. This iconic pink mansion is Barbie's happy place.
So we're gonna add some paint, some props, and some eerie effects, and we're gonna try to turn Barbie's dream into her worst nightmare.
You are going to be spoiled for options because there are hundreds of cutie pies. Like, I haven't even found every pal yet. And most of them are adorable. Some of them are a little scary looking. But most of them are cute and cuddly.
Let's get started. First, we're getting rid of all of this happy stuff here. Take that.
Is that a little chicken? Haunted birthday cake?
Yes.
Please stop messing up my dollhouse.
I'm not afraid of anything. We should definitely make this a spooky teddy bear. Get out of here. Ah! Oh no. Choo-choo.
Ripskis.
Oh no.
Did you just break it?
Maybe.
It's okay, I broke it like 6 times. Just getting it home in the car, I broke it.
It's so fragile.
Yeah, dollhouses like this are
there any
super
ghosts on it?
fragile. Like, not to be that guy, but I swear I remember having a dollhouse that was built like a tank. Like, that thing got knocked around and dropped and all sorts of stuff. And it was still in one piece. Then again, I guess this is a Barbie dollhouse, so it's probably made of the cheapest, thinnest plastic available. Because Barbie toys have been slowly declining in quality for a very long
I'm not sure how to
time.
do it. I'm probably gonna break it.
Don't break it. Oh my goodness. Oh!
I think every girl had a dollhouse at some point.
Let's talk about our plan for the house. We're gonna give it a whole new paint job. We're gonna give it custom floors, like
I did? Okay, cool. Making sure I'm not just pulling some random other universe memory out of my
We have a
butt.
glowing magic circle on the floor. On the ceiling up here, we're gonna have like a Stranger Things portal opening up like in Eddie's trailer with like tendrils coming down, wrapping around stuff. I think we're gonna do some digital effects in the back. And then over here, we're gonna do like a Haunted Mansion style endless hallway with all sorts of lights and cool mirrors and effects and stuff. But to do that, we're gonna need to put walls on in a bunch of places. So let's build some walls.
We made the walls from some thin pieces of birch plywood so it'd be super strong.
Yeah,
They're also
Barbie
really easy to paint,
McDonald's.
so it'll be great for this. Then we can just super glue them in place.
That,
We did have to cut some notches here and there to fit around the weird dollhouse stuff, but it was
huh. Didn't know that existed, but I...
Okay, that was pretty easy. Everything went in smooth and I'm happy with it. I'm gonna add in a ceiling, but I'm gonna do that later, I think.
Next, we're gonna paint the whole thing white with a primer so that we can then paint
So is it just
back
me
to
or is the
pink.
Barbie dream house a lot smaller than it used to be?
No,
I swear Barbie dream houses used to be like massive. It was the 80s?
We have the
80s
house
was an
all
interesting
primed, and
time,
we added a couple
wasn't it?
Wall panels in for some architectural interest. We are going to be adding like baseboard and floors, but that's going to come later because first we have to paint it pink. We got a lot of different pink paints here. And it turns out Barbie pink is copyright, so we don't have official Barbie pink, but we have a pretty close sample. On our last dollhouse makeover, which is right there, the focus was really on the outside, but this one I want the focus to be on the inside and what's happening in these scenes. So by painting the exterior of the house gray, I'm hoping it kind of melts away and lets you really focus in on what's happening inside.
I wouldn't know what the 80s
What
was
you doing
like.
over there?
I
I'm
wasn't
making floorboards.
alive.
I started with popsicle sticks and I cut off the little round ends and then I'm just sanding them a little bit and bam, miniature floorboards. I just have like 1,000 of them to make.
For the kitchen floor, Jamie first made a paper template and then glued on a piece of scrapbook paper to make it look just like a tile floor.
Ooh.
It surprised us how good this looked, and it was really easy.
That worked
We've got
so
some really
well.
fun ideas planned for this upper room, but first we got to put the floor in. We're basically going to build this like a real floor. We're going to start at the back and just kind of build the planks all the way out, and once the floor is in there, we can start building the effects.
The floorboards are kind of wonk.
Curving that wood to fit around that curve there,
Yes.
that's amazing.
You know what? It doesn't matter if you're doing a tiny little dollhouse or like a huge project, spend the time to get the details right and it will be appreciated.
Now that we've put this beautiful, pristine floor in, we want to mess it up. The wire brush helps give it a little bit of texture, and the utility knives for carving in deep grooves and scratches. We're going to build up the paint in a bunch of different layers, and these are just watered down acrylics, and we'll keep adding in different washes until we like it. I'm using a little bit of a flicking technique, and that just adds dust and grime and stuff like that.
Just like on a real house, we're going to do the baseboards after we do the floors so that everything can be painted separately. It makes it a lot easier.
To match the Haunted Mansion hallway, we found a really close replica of the wallpaper pattern, but then we made it pink.
I really like the way this like kitchen thing came out, James. It's like really.
It feels fancy and modern.
Yeah. Does it start here and then go down?
Oh yeah, maybe. Well,
I'm afraid I'm gonna break it.
don't break the kitchen. Did you get it?
Yeah. It definitely almost broke though.
Yeah, fancy kitchen.
Didn't break it. Look at this thing.
Ta-da!
So normally our philosophy is make it nice first and change it and add the stuff we want and then ruin it again. Because that
Why
way
is
instead of
that?
going straight to ruined and old, you kind of
Apparently
like.
there's this consultation company called Sweet Baby Inc. that's responsible for helping developers to increase their ESG score.
ESG.
Yeah. Environmental social guidance or something like that.
Oh boy.
Basically, it's like a social credit score that Vanguard and BlackRock, which are two major investment firms, use for determining who's going to get investments. And the higher your ESG score is, the more likely it is that they're going to support you and give you money.
Not
It
impressed.
looks more
Indie
normal.
games
It's
are
more
better.
realistic this way.
Usually.
This is like the scary part because you've spent all this time making it pristine and beautiful, and now you just destroy it. But it's also like a really fun part. So looking forward to it. My plan is to have like water stains oozing down the walls and little mold spores and like ghost residue.
Ghost residue? What's that?
I don't know, but we're gonna find out together.
Sounds sticky.
Grimy.
Jane, that looks amazing.
Thank you. Yes, it does.
Well,
Spooky.
Jamie's been painting. I've been working on all the lights and effects that are going to go inside the house. Come check it out. This is a chandelier that's going to go in the haunted hallway that was from the original dream house. We're going to put all these LEDs in it. These are tiny little skulls that we 3D printed on our resin printer. And look at the crazy detail you can get in this. It's like little teeth, and these are going to go on the walls and make it super spooky. This stuff is amazing. It's called LED filament.
Ooh,
And
it's
basically
a
like
wiggly
wet
noodle.
spaghetti noodle wire that glows. This is
Look
gonna
at
go
the
on floor
noodle.
upstairs.
Look at the
This
glowy
is a
noodle.
microfogger. You've seen us use this before.
Glowy
in videos. We use it
noodle,
in our big
glowy
treasure
noodle.
chest. We're gonna use this to add some cool mist and stuff like that inside the house. And finally, we've got these tiny, tiny, tiny little LEDs. We're gonna use these to make some little candles that are gonna be scattered around, kind of flickering throughout the house. All of this stuff is gonna be powered by the new Arduino Uno R4, which has Wi-Fi, which means we can control the house from like afar and make spooky things happen.
To paint the wall sconces, we started by airbrushing the skulls to a bone white, and then the metal parts were carefully painted in aged bronze color. The plastic
Very
chandelier got
pretty.
painted the same color. We used a brown wash to dirty up the skulls, and then a little bit of dry brushing to bring back the highlights.
Very cool.
These things came out amazing. We kind of want to make some life-size ones for our actual house.
Okay, one thing I've learned so far is on a project like the Barbie Scream House, there's so many things to keep track of.
Like, what kind of creature is Barbie summoning? And what kind of giant spider is she raising in her entryway?
Yeah, and 300 other tiny little details all over the place.
We've got reference images, colors, design inspiration, keeping track of all the different materials we have. It's a lot.
And we're
I
able to
sense a
digital
sponsorship.
system your sign up.
The upstairs is where all the supernatural spooky stuff is happening, so let's get into that.
We're gonna turn this happy little girl into the cursed Samara from
Totes.
the Ring. The first step in her transformation, where you're going to use some Rit dye.
Hello,
to dye her
dummy.
black.
Hello,
We mixed the dye
sausage.
and then soaked her hair, and then we let it sit for
Nope.
over an hour.
Fuck you.
But once it dried,
Oh, she didn't
That's not
fuck you as
blacker. What
quickly.
I don't
She
know
didn't
if
say
the
fuck you
dye
as
didn't
quickly as I
stick.
thought she
we
would.
saw Jazza used alcohol ink to dye up Barbie's hair, so we tried that.
Much better.
Next, we painted little Chelsea a pale, ghostly white, and we made her a creepy little gown.
You got me thinking. I
Did you
feel
know that
a
TVs used to be giant boxes?
kind
It's
of
true.
way,
And we
and
modeled
that's
this one to look
sad.
exactly like the one from The Ring.
Hi.
So I went ahead and hung up the thing on the wall in the bathroom.
Just a moment. Oh, my head.
I need to ask you to not hang anything on it until
It's done drying. Yeah, I get it.
just
But look at that.
no hole in the wall.
And it looks like it belongs there, doesn't it?
A little bit.
It almost looks correct. And it's a place I can put my glasses when I'm washing my face or going into the shower.
Yeah. Look.
Oh, it's so nice. Sorry, we got this new funky little thing for a bathroom. Looks like a little mirror with some stuff you can hang things from, like little hooks. And it's got this little space where you can put glasses on. And it's so cool.
And we actually printed out on clear plastic the actual scene from the movie. So now we got to put all this stuff together. First thing I'm going to do is put a light in the TV because we want the screen to actually light up. And to do that, we're using EL wire, which is basically glowing wire. It's super cool. Now I've got a few layers to put in for the screen. We're going to start with a piece of white paper, which kind of diffuses the light.
Yeah, so it's going to make a lot easier time of me.
Piece of acrylic, and we've got our own little TV screen. This is gonna be the hardest part. I have to attach her to the TV, and we really only have one idea, so I'm hoping this works. But it starts with me cutting her legs off, which is super weird. We're gonna go full Sid from Toy Story here.
There they go.
I have no legs. I lost them in the well. So now we have this flat surface, and we're gonna glue this to the TV. This is one of those things where if this doesn't work, I have to rebuild this whole TV. So please work.
It's that.
Is to give her that greasy, gross hair that hangs in front of her face.
So cool.
That looks awesome.
Creepy.
I'm using Sharpie so that we're committed. There's no backing out now. Now we're going to take our little LED filament that we showed you before, and we're going to put it in the floor, and hopefully the whole floor is going to glow when we turn it on. I made it just the right size so that this fits in. All right, should we test these lights out?
Yes.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Spooky.
That's
Look at this.
so bright.
That is super. All right, wait,
It's
watch
so
this.
bright.
Some serious summoning happening in this room.
Yeah, there is. Kind of looks like a giant play button.
It's not supposed to look like a giant play button. I mean, it is for a YouTube video, so you know, it's just pressing play magically.
This is Yoga Barbie. My goal for her is to make her look like she's actually being possessed by a really nasty spirit.
Dang it.
And look at that crazy hair.
I love that she's still wearing like yoga clothes, but they're just all dirty.
Yeah, well.
It's perfect.
Do you remember these teeny tiny little LEDs that Jay showed you? I'm gonna make some candles that they can fit into. I already made a couple. These are made out of Sculpey, which is a clay that you bake in the oven to dry.
As Adam from north of the border would say, first I rolled out a wormy dealie. I flattened one end to make the wax drippies, and then used a ball tool to make an indentation at the top for the flame. Then I poked a hole for the wires to go through.
And after 20 minutes in the oven, we have a bunch of tiny little candles. What's really cool about this stuff is it's semi-transparent, so when you put the LED in, it has this glow, almost like a real candle.
The plan for this hallway right here is to do an infinity mirror so it creates like an endless hallway effect from the Haunted Mansion. Now we don't have a lot of space in here though, and I'm honestly not entirely sure if this is gonna work, but we're gonna cut some acrylic and test it out. So this is a piece of acrylic two-way mirror, and we need to cut 2 pieces of this for the effect. We've got a template made out of cardboard that fits exactly in the hallway, so I'm cutting the acrylic to match that.
Oh, that's
I
terrifying.
broke it.
Did we buy extra?
No. I'm gonna try to glue it back together, and maybe our infinity mirror there'll be a crack in reality or something, I don't know.
Glued together patch come out.
It's not great, but it is what it is. On every project, there's like a scar that reminds me of something I screwed up, and that's this one. Okay, the mirrors are in place. In theory, if we put a light in here, then the light bounces back and forth in between the 2 mirrors, and it creates an infinity effect, which is kind of working. But honestly, I'm not too excited about how this looks. There's just not enough space to like make it cool. That's a shame. We do have a plan B though, which we should try.
There's a car alarm going off.
So we converted it into what's gonna be a bathroom. So now it makes a little more sense. We've got a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom, and down here, we finally added some walls and a floor, so there's gonna be some stuff in there too, I think. Honestly, I've totally lost track of all that. There's so many little details on this thing. We're just gonna like keep moving forward and hopefully it all comes together.
Since we have the two-way acrylic, we decided to build a mirror illusion, kind of like a miniature version of our haunted mirror project. We 3D printed and painted a mirror frame, glued it in, put in our piece of acrylic, and there you go.
The dream house came with some bathroom stuff that luckily fit perfectly in this little room, so we made it gross. Like, really gross. What is this green toxic ooze coming out?
Grody.
There's this thing called Skibidi Toilet, and a bunch of y'all have been asking for it. I'm not gonna claim to understand exactly what it is, but it's a guy's head coming out of a toilet. So we got Ken, and we're gonna make Skibidi Toilet just for you. Off with your head.
Still not the weirdest thing we've made, but it's up there.
It's up there.
It's on the list.
Yeah, I gotta get that super demented look.
Our plan for the kitchen is to recreate a famous scene from the first Scream movie. And for the rest of the kitchen, we're gonna put in a lot of cool, interesting stuff to really make that spooky atmosphere. We need to make this Barbie look like Drew Barrymore's character from Scream, Casey Becker. So first, I'm gonna give her a little haircut.
Are you gonna try to give her bangs?
I'm gonna try.
Are you literally just gonna glue hair to her head?
Yes. Help me. Okay. Barbie's worst nightmare is a bad hair day. This is just part of the whole thing, right?
That is a freaking nightmare. I don't know what is happening.
What have you done?
I just melted all of her hair by accident.
What?
It's okay.
Let me see this. Well,
Don't worry about it, it's fine.
To match the scene from Scream, we even made her some delicious Jiffy Pop and a retro white phone. To make Ghostface, I sewed this stylish little black robe, and then we made her a mask and a miniature Buck 120 for, stabbing reasons.
So this is that little chandelier that was in the Barbie house, and I built a little LED array, which should go inside this thing and look pretty cool. And there you go, a chandelier.
Luckily, there was a lot of places to creatively hide the wiring, so installing these lights was a breeze.
Our plan for this room is it's going to be like the nest of the big mama spider. So we're gonna have it covered in spider webs. We'll have a Barbie victim like hanging upside down and a bunch of little baby spiders everywhere.
Spooters.
Oh, that's freaky. Sorry, Barbie.
I don't know, the spider could be bigger.
Ever since Stranger Things came out last year, we really wanted to make a portal to the Upside Down. We actually tried making a life-size one last year, and it's the only project we ever scrapped because it looked terrible.
It was a disaster.
It was so bad. It was no good at all. So instead, we're gonna build a mini portal to the Upside Down in our Barbie's greenhouse. We cut a hole in the ceiling, and now we need to make like 50 really creepy vines to come out of it. Look at my vines. I made so many. Okay, next we have to base coat these black, give them a little dry brush for texture, and then glue them on the house. To attach these, I'm going to bend it up over like this hole in here, and then hot glue it kind of squiggly-like going down
Squiggly-like.
Yes.
Technical term.
Yes. Going down the, the ceiling and the walls of the house. And now we summon the dark forces and put all of these in there.
Stickers they put on the bottom of these cups and plates.
I know.
We're so close to done. Here's a quick look at what's going on behind the scenes. This is an iPad that's held on by some clips that we made, and on the window in the top floor is going to be like this crazy effect going on. We've got another iPad here, and this is the back of the two-way mirror, so there'll be some cool stuff in the bathroom. And then on top, we've got a little phone that's playing a video for the portal in the ceiling. So obviously we went a little overboard with having two iPads and a phone, but we just kind of wanted to show you like what's possible. Also, this is a really good use for like your old phones and stuff. So when you upgrade and get a new phone, you can do this kind of thing. Then down here, we've got all the wiring for the candles and the lights and all that stuff. It's all coming down and being powered by this Arduino, which is basically like a tiny little computer. It just kind of tells everything what to do. But instead of just having all the lights on, we can actually tell it to like fade in and out and flicker the candles and things like that. So it's super fun. We didn't end up getting to it, but what's really cool about the Arduino R4 is it has Wi-Fi capabilities, which means you can control it from the cloud. I just think that's awesome. Like we could like have this turn on all by itself and totally freak people out.
Are we finally ready to put all the stuff in and turn the lights on?
Yes, but first we have a wicked shout out this week to Alavo and Eloisa, who sent us this amazing letter in the mail.
Olavo's been making his own spooky creations at home, and he even sent us this amazing drawing on how to make our own skeleton from Goodwill.
Our favorite thing in the world is getting stuff like this from you guys and seeing what you've been making, so thank you so much.
And until next time, stay wicked.
No.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
Kitty! Don't involve poor kitty pies in your spookiness. Cats don't deserve to be scared. They deserve to be loved and snuggled. Yeah, that was a lot. Anyways, the next episode we'll be playing Amnesia finally because I'm not feeling terrible. Hopefully by Saturday. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.